Happy Friday and welcome to another Guerilla Sports Daily. I'm your host, Liv Moods, and this is presented by Trusted American Mortgage. Trusted American salary-based mortgage consultants want to help you get into a better interest rate and lower your monthly payments. Just head to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you save some money today.
Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. I am currently on Twitter letting everybody know we are live. You're probably thinking, Liv, weren't you just sitting at that desk for 4.5 hours? I was. Can't get enough of this place. I am back. We are back and better than ever. We've got a lot in store for you today. Actually, I will be running this daily. We'll be chatting about just when we can expect our Denver teams to play again. I've got some conversations I want to have about Juan Soto. And I know, yes, he's making a lot of money, but that's not what I want to talk about. And then also, we are going to later today get into some other things. So if you're a football fan and you want just football talk, Off Field will be happening today right after the daily at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Following that, I will actually be joined by a special guest, Mike Singer, and we will be talking all things basketball and all things Nuggets. And then at 1:30, you can expect an Off Ice episode with Jesse Montano and Megan Angley. In case you missed it, you can still access our 4.5-hour Guerilla Sports Central show that we shot last night. We did not leave the studio until about midnight. We got here around 7. It was a very long night, but a very fun one nonetheless. We talked all things Denver sports for 4.5 hours because the Broncos were playing, the Avs were playing, and the Nuggets were playing all in one night, and there was a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, 2 of those 3 teams fell short in their matchups, but the Avs managed to get it done, and I learned who Kivy is, and I am a large Kivy stan now. So just know that. I don't know a whole lot about hockey, but I do know Kivy is a badass, and he has a fan in me moving forward. Okay. Let's get into some Denver sports, shall we? We'll start actually with the Broncos just because they will have a little bit of rest here, a bit of a bye week, a mini bye week, if you will, because they did play last night on a Thursday. Their original game got flexed to a Thursday night, and their next game is not until Saturday the 28th. It's not on a Sunday, it's on a Saturday, so make sure you are prepared for that. And this Broncos team will be facing the Cincinnati Bengals, and I want you to not get confused here. The Cincinnati Bengals do not have a great record. They really, really don't. Actually, they have been a team that has been very shocking in so many ways because we have a Joe Burrow that is putting up MVP level numbers this season. And we have his go-to receiver in Jamar Chase having one of his best seasons yet. And they still are a 6-8 squad in the AFC North. The Steelers are a better team than them. The Ravens are a better team than them. They have a very tough conference as is, but they are not doing a whole lot in that conference. And they're not doing a whole lot with this season. The Bengals, again, despite being 6-8 and this Broncos team being now 9-6, they are not to be underestimated whatsoever. Joe Burrow having a phenomenal season. Jamar Chase having a phenomenal season. They have a very high-power offense, and the Broncos are going to have to bring their A game to take down this Bengals team. So, is hope lost for the Denver Broncos and their playoff run? It is not. In order for the Broncos to make the playoffs, they have to either win or tie one of their next 2 games. Now, here's the kicker. They play the Cincinnati Bengals, who I just mentioned are not to be underestimated in the slightest. But after that, they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's not like the Broncos have a super easy schedule remaining for them, and them getting in the playoffs is just piece of cake. No, they are going to have to bring their A game. And last night against the Chargers, what we saw with this Broncos team is that they came out strong in the first quarter. This is actually maybe their best first quarter performance. And it was not enough because unfortunately they forgot to show up in the second half. They had a lot of penalties that were self-inflicted wounds. Our offense could not get fired up at all in the second half. I believe there was not one touchdown scored in the second half for this Broncos team, despite the hot start that they had. So it is going to require this Broncos team to not sulk like us fans probably feel a little bit today. Listen, I am a Broncos and Nuggets fan mostly. Kivy might have changed me over to the Avs side just a smidge. However, Broncos and Nuggets are my teams, okay? And they both lost last night in a pretty brutal way in games that they really should have won. The Broncos came out really hot, like I said, and just could not find their rhythm in that second half and ultimately just handed the game right to the Los Angeles Chargers, a division opponent. And so it's tough. It was a tough game. Nonetheless, all playoff hopes are not lost. They just need to tie or win one of their next 2 games. Like I said, that being said, they are tough matchups, so they've got to bring their A game. And we know they're a well-coached and well-oiled machine, so I think that they will. I think they'll do what they need to do to get themselves prepared for the Bengals and for the Chiefs. And hopefully they're still tasting blood in their mouth after getting smacked by the Chiefs in such a brutal fashion earlier this season. So that's all I've got for you on the Broncos. They've got a mini bye here. Basically just some extended time. But if I am taking a guess here, I would imagine Sean is going to tell them, forget that extra rest. We've got some work to do. So I'm not really sure if it will be a bye after all, a mini bye after all. Let's talk a little bit of Nuggets. I will have a special guest today. We will be breaking down a little bit more about this Nuggets team. They lost to the Trailblazers. It shouldn't happen. It just should not happen. That is the reality of this. And unfortunately, as much as I don't want to see Michael Porter Jr. get traded, he is our last tradable piece if this Nuggets team wants to address some of the issues. And there are issues. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there are issues on this Nuggets team. When you have a Nikola Jokic, who is arguably the best player in the world right now, even Jamal Murray, who we know is not entirely consistent and hasn't been entirely consistent. You've got an Aaron Gordon. You've got a Russell Westbrook. You've got a Michael Porter Jr. You've got a Christian Brown. You aren't supposed to be losing games like they did last night. And that is just the fact of the matter. And last night on the show, when I had Ruben with me, we talked a little bit about the fact that the Nuggets tend to play down to their opponents. And while that is true, they also still have some missing pieces that they need to address. And in order to address them, they're going to have to make a trade. And the only tradable piece is MPJ. I, unfortunately, feel more and more confident that MPJ will no longer be a Denver Nugget before that February 6th trade deadline. It's the sad reality. Do I think that MPJ deserves that? I don't. I think that our front office made some poor decisions. And in doing that now, MPJ kind of has to be the scapegoat a little bit because he is the only tradable piece left standing. So I unfortunately think there are some changes that need to be made. But I'm here to tell you right now, I don't want it to be Zach LaVine. If it's going to be anybody, let it be Brandon Ingram. But I don't want to spend too much time talking Nuggets right now because we will have a full off-court episode at about 12:15 Mountain Time today. So if you want to get in the chat and go back and forth with me about what the future of this Nuggets team looks like, we will absolutely do that. The Nuggets lost to the Trailblazers, like I said, and they do play again on Sunday. Now, at the buzzer. And I'm not going to lie, the Trailblazers looked pretty good, right? I mean, this was a game where not a whole lot of defense was played, which is what you can pretty much expect from every game that this Nuggets team will play. Now, here's what's interesting. The Nuggets will take on the Pelicans on Sunday. And like I said, Brandon Ingram is in some conversations, or his name is in the pool of conversations that are swirling around MPJ in regards to a trade. Now, I'm actually uncertain right this very moment of the health status of Brandon Ingram. By the way, the Pelicans are currently on a 5-game losing streak, so they also need to make some changes in their system, and maybe MPJ can be that for them. Selfishly, I don't want to see him go because I just love MPJ, and I think he's done a lot of really great things for this team. Yeah, Brandon Ingram has not been playing, at least the last game against the Rockets, he did not play. So I'm not sure what the status of him, to be honest, I haven't really been keeping up with the Pelicans. I'm not sure anyone has. They're 5-23. No offense. I haven't really been watching that team. I haven't been worried about that team. I have had way too many things to worry about as it pertains to my Denver Nuggets and what they're up to. So Brandon Ingram might be somebody that they're looking at, to bring over to Denver. We shall see. We'll talk more about that on the off-court episode in just a bit. Let's talk a little bit of Avs. Yes, the Avs got a win last night. If you watched the show, we had a lot of fun. The Avs segment was really fun, and I didn't know how I was going to feel about it because I'm not a huge Avs girl. I'm not a huge hockey girl, and I was kind of leading the charge on that 4.5-hour show last night, and I was like, wow, I've got to talk about a team I don't really follow. But it was very fun, and I learned a lot, and I think it's very important in my line of work to be constantly learning and getting better. And last night I learned a lot about the Avs, and it made me very excited about potentially, keeping up with this team a little bit more. We've got some of the most intelligent hockey brains in this studio. Megan Angley and Jesse Montano do a fabulous job of covering our Colorado Avs. And so I have the resources at my disposal. I need to use them. I need to learn more about this team. All I know right now is I love Kivy. If you know, you know. If you were watching the show, you understand what I'm talking about. It was a really, really good time. And if you missed our 4.5-hour show last night, you can still find it on YouTube. Just go to Guerilla Sports on YouTube. Obviously, subscribe because we have content going up every single day. And you just go to that live tab and you can see our show from last night, Guerrilla Sports Central. We had a ball. If I remember correctly, the Avs will be playing again tonight in Anaheim, and we will have our very own Jesse Montano out in the field, tossing us some footage back. And he and Megan will have a show today, as far as I know. So exciting things happening there for the Avs. They got a win last night. Megan, in talking with her on the show last night, she pretty much said, like, this does feel like a must win, backs against the wall sort of situation. They made a change at goalkeeper, and this is where they prove that they can truly be exceptional. So shout out Avs. They got it done. They were one of the Denver teams that was able to do their job. And if you didn't know, I'm sure they'll talk about it on their show, but Jesse Montano and Megan Angley will be doing a live podcast from 7 Brew up in Firestone. If you're in Denver, it's just north of Denver for a little ways. 7 Brew, I heard it is a phenomenal new coffee shop. I have not yet been, but I heard it is exceptional. They've got like over 20,000 flavor combinations or something insane. I didn't even know that was possible. And Jesse and Megan will be live from Firestone, from 7 Brew on Saturday, I believe at noon, but I'm sure they'll make a graphic. They'll put it out in the universe. They'll let everybody know where you can find them. But if you want to hang out with them and listen to their podcast live, absolutely check out 7 Brew, grab yourself a coffee and sit down and listen to the brilliant hockey minds that Guerrilla Sports has. Okay. Denver sports, last but not least, Buffs, who will be playing in the Alamo Bowl on the 28th. Yes, the same day as the Denver Broncos taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, let's talk a little bit about this Colorado Buffaloes team, shall we? They've had quite an interesting couple of seasons under Coach Prime. They ended their season 9-3. And in the regular season, unfortunately, they were trending towards being first in the Big 12, going to that Big 12 championship game. Then they let a game slip away from them against who? Yeah, not the best team in the Big 12. No, the Kansas Jayhawks. They let that game slip away. Unfortunately, they were unable to do anything with that. Now, the BYU Cougars and the Colorado Buffaloes will face off. The Cougars ended their season ranked 17th. The Buffaloes ranked 23rd. There was actually a world in which I thought the Buffaloes could have been a playoff team this season. They were trending in that way, but unfortunately, we talk about all of our sports teams, all of our favorite sports teams, and we say every game matters. And in this case, it couldn't have been more true. That game that they lost to the Jayhawks ultimately kept them out of the playoffs. And of course, the other Big 12 teams that were around them doing what they needed to do made an impact. BYU 10-2. The Colorado Buffaloes 9-3. This should be a very good game. This should be a very, very good game. Now, when I look at some of the games that this team lost, now they actually in the regular season never got a chance to play BYU. And BYU, I'm not sure if you know, was added to the Big 12. They were added to the Big 12 and they did what they needed to do. Unfortunately, they actually missed the Big 12 championship. I believe, I don't know what kept them out of it. I think it was a combination of how Arizona State ended, how Iowa State ended. You know how it gets down to the wire like that. But BYU was a very solid team all season long in the Big 12. And the Big 12 has made a lot of changes. I'm from TCU. I'm a TCU alma mater, and the Big 12 looked a whole lot different when I was in college than it does now. But we are seeing that happen in all of these conferences. And it is exciting because to be a BYU, to get into a new conference, and in that first year, you're making the strides that they did and making an impression on the Big 12 is awesome. So this should be a really, really great game. The only games that this BYU Cougars team lost in the regular season actually came towards the end of their season. One against Kansas. Again, this Kansas team, what the heck is going on? Kansas actually ended their season 5-7. They were 10th in the Big 12, yet they gave the CU Buffs and the BYU Cougars both a run for their money. Shout out to Kansas. I can't be mad at them. And then they lost to Arizona State, who ultimately went on to win the Big 12 championship. So This team, for the most part, pretty competitive. They beat SMU, who is now a playoff team. I'm trying to see if there's any other playoff teams that they took down. I think that should be it. So this BYU team is legit, and they're going to have talent, and they're going to be prepared, and they've been watching film just like the Colorado Buffaloes have. So as much as I love the Buffs and I'm rooting for the Buffs, this should be a very good game. It should be a very fun and exciting, a lot of high-power offense on both sides. You know, you've got Shadur's arm, you've got Travis Hunter, Heisman winner out there. This should be a very, very exciting matchup. So we will hopefully keep you covered on all things Alamo Bowl on Saturday. I'm not sure what our game plan is here, to be honest. I just had to get through that show last night and then try not to sleep through my alarm this morning. So baby steps, folks. We will keep you updated on what we've got planned for next weekend as the Nuggets, the Broncos, and the Buffs all play in the same day. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I don't know if I can handle it, but we'll figure it out. Don't you worry. So, speaking of the Buffs, I have to address one thing. The drama around Travis Hunter and his girlfriend, right? And I know you're going to say, Liv, she made an apology video. Why are you still talking about it? What I'm going to say about this is this. I just don't want to, we let it be what it is, right? We let it be what it is. And I know you're thinking, well, you're the one talking about it, so you're not letting it be what it is. I'm still seeing people talk about it. And I'm still seeing people pull things and however you feel about their relationship is quite frankly none of our business. And, you know, that's actually very hard for me. I'm a very nosy person. I'm the person that's creating a whole line of traffic because when there's an accident or the police are out, I'm like turning my head. Yeah, I'm a nosy person. It just is what it is. I can't help myself. But that being said, I think we've got to start channeling our energy more towards the fact that Travis Hunter can truly be an anomaly in the NFL. And he's doing phenomenal things. And he still has a big game to play in his college career. And so let's talk about his football. Let's talk about his skill set. Let's talk about how great he is on the field playing two positions. That's what we worry about. And if his relationship with his fiance, I believe it's his fiance, if his relationship with his fiance doesn't pan out because of all the concerns that people out there have, then that's on them. And that's what's going to happen. And ultimately, with time, it will happen the way it's supposed to. But for now, we got to focus on his ball. We've got to focus on football and the way in which he plays his game because it's phenomenal. And that's what we really should be worried about, not his relationship, you know? And unfortunately, the reality is that when he is more in the public eye, he is going to have people that all of a sudden care about his relationship and are in his business. And he actually needs to get a little bit used to that because it's not going to get any easier. He's just going to get bigger. He's a household name at this point. And unfortunately, people get in your business. Compared to Travis Hunter, I am a nobody and I still have people that get in my business. I don't know why. I don't want that, but that's just the nature of when you put yourself online or when people know who you are, you're going to get people's opinions that you don't necessarily want. And unfortunately, he's going to have to deal with that more and more and more as he gets more important and more valuable. The last thing I wanted to talk about, because it's very, very interesting. Juan Soto. And I know you're probably thinking, Liv, we've all heard it. He's making so much money, it actually makes you want to throw up. Yes, I understand. What is it? $756 million. What the hell? I mean, the largest sports contract in the history of sports. It is nuts. I didn't even know they could give you that much money. That is insanity. But more than that, I want to talk about kind of the way in which it seems like things maybe ended with the Yankees and the way in which things are going to be better for Juan Soto with the Mets. It's almost making me think that there was a world where the Yankees could have figured this out potentially with Juan Soto. They could have given him what he needed to keep him, to make him feel appreciated. I don't even know, based on some of the things I'm reading, I don't know if it was just money that made him go somewhere else. Sounds like there were some principal aspects to it. There were some things that went down that just didn't sit right, maybe. It says here, the Yankees reportedly had a somewhat frosty relationship with Soto's family. You don't mess with the family. You don't mess with the family. I know you're paying the bills. I know you're paying him. I know you're helping him put food on the table. You don't mess with family. You should know better, Yankees. What is that? And basically Juan Soto made sure that wasn't going to happen again. He made sure that wasn't going to happen again. So what I'm hearing and what I'm understanding is that Juan Soto's Mets contract is a little bit more family friendly. And if family is as important to him as it is to me, I would be right there with him. I would be right there alongside him. The perks that are included in Soto's deal that are family friendly are exceptional. There is, besides a suite at Citi Field for 15 years, he also threw in 22 Delta Club premium seats, security people for both him and his entire family, home and away. And it said, but not confirmed, the family services clause in the contract includes charter flights for his family to road games and a clothes allowance for his mother. Oh my gosh. You're putting clothes on his mama's back? Oh, he's a Met for life. I'm just saying, that's crazy. And if he does value family to that extent, which I know I do, that's a huge deal. That's a huge deal. And you might be thinking, a suite? Who cares about a suite? Well, here's where it kind of gets a little petty. Here's where the drama comes in a little. Here's where the tea starts to get a little hot. The Yankee side of things, when Juan Soto wanted a suite, they basically told him, we pay you a lot of money. Buy a suite if you want a suite. What? You want him to buy a suite? Again, can he afford it? Yes, of course he can. This man is making so much money, he probably doesn't even know what to do with most of it. Of course he can afford it, but it's the principle. You take care of these people like they're your own. This is family, right? He's done a lot for you. You've done a lot for him. But guess what? You guys meet each other halfway sometimes. I don't know. I find that to be a little strange. I find it also to be strange that Juan Soto has said, I haven't heard from any of my Yankees teammates. Not one of them seemed like they wanted me to stay. They weren't begging me to stick around. They didn't want. Something's weird there. Something's weird there. So I remember seeing a lot of Yankees fans on my timeline very upset about the way in which this whole thing went down. And Juan Soto is phenomenal. So there was just some sadness attached to that. But it sounds like maybe some of this was just slipped through the fingertips of the Yankees because of principle, moral-based things. I don't even know if it was about the money at that point. I just think the Yankees weren't willing to do some moral things, some principle-based things for Juan Soto that the Mets were willing to do. And he's like, listen, they're making it pretty easy on me to want to go that direction. So either way, Juan Soto not only is making an ungodly amount of money, but he is, it seems, with an organization that's going to take care of him. And that is very, very important. At the end of the day, you do a lot for these teams. You want them to be able to do a lot for you as well. And yes, of course, the money part. The money is a reward and also a payment for the job that he does. But there's probably a lot of ways in which Juan Soto is involved in organizations that he plays for and does the right thing. And who knows? I don't know the back end of his life and his business, but you want to be taken care of by your people. And the Yankees saying, we pay you a lot of money, buy your own suite. I don't know. That's just weird energy to me. Maybe I don't understand the baseball world as much as I should, but I find that to be strange. So either way, that's neither here nor there. He's making a lot of money. Congratulations to him. Yeah, that's all I have for today, you guys. We have off field in about 34 minutes. We've got off court after that. And then after that, you can expect Jesse Montano and Megan Angley for an episode of their show Off Ice. So we've got a lot of content, full day of content. Despite the 4.5-hour show, we still have a full day of content for you today on a Friday. Thank you guys for being here. Happy Friday. This has been another Guerilla Sports Daily presented by Trusted American Mortgage. Head to trustedamerican.com, see how they can help you save some money today, maybe get you into a better interest rate, maybe lower your monthly payments. You name it, they've got it. Go check it out. Also, we've got our friends over at Landmark Lincoln. Make sure you check them out. They're rock stars. I think there's like a Corsair hybrid something or other that's out there right now. Ooh. So if you need a car or you know someone that needs a car, head to the corner of Broadway and Bellevue. Check out why they've been Colorado, not America. Well, maybe America's, who knows? I might be making it up, but Colorado's #1 trusted Lincoln dealer since 1911. Folks, okay? Corner of Broadway and Bellevue. Go check out what they've got. They've also got some great incentives for you. So thank you guys so much for being here. Happy Friday. Have a wonderful and blessed weekend. And I don't know, I'll see you for off field and off court. And then maybe Monday as well. Yeah. I'll see you on Christmas Eve's Eve. Okay? So then I will give you guys all the happy holiday wishes and all that sort of stuff. But for now, have a wonderful weekend. Much love, and we will see you soon.